This climb moves up in a series of ramps, so we're going to see the riders pedaling a relatively easy cadence, and then again it'll ramp up. We're going to see that regularly now inside the last 2 kilometers. Up front, Kreuziger, though, has definitely hit one of those tough ramps, and there's a definite decent amount of daylight between these 4 riders and Kwiatkowski behind. So is he going to be able to get a dig out from Rigoberto Urán? Is there anyone going to be able to help Kwiatkowski? 4th in this race 1 year ago, and on absolutely monster form at the moment, but the jury's still out on whether Kwiatkowski is a rider for the big stage races. Certainly he's great on the one-day races, but still at just 23 years of age. And the attack comes from Quintana. Contador immediately responds. Scarponi looks like he's equal to that challenge, but that's not the last attack we're going to see from Nairo Quintana in this stage.
Of course, Contador doesn't have to chase. All he's got to do is follow, and it looks like Kreuziger all sorts of distress here.
I think Kreuziger is waiting for Contador. I think he might have got the instruction that Alberto's coming up from behind, so why not wait and work them over together, because 2 against 3 is definitely a big advantage.
Very strange tactics here from Contador, looking over his shoulder. He could go here. They've actually put a gap between themselves and the Azura jersey of Kwiatkowski. It's Richie Porte bridging across the gap. Clearly Kwiatkowski in distress here, isolated now, no teammates with him. He's got to react to this or the race is over for him. He needs to close that gap now.
Superb work being done by Kwiatkowski. He's just about managed to winch himself back on. Kreuziger looks around to see what's happening. Scarponi says, I'm not waiting for any more tactical stuff. I'm getting out of here. Kreuziger sits on his wheel, and it's Richie Porte that's going to try and close the gap to these 2 leaders as they go under the kite. We're inside the final kilometre of this 4th stage of Tirreno-Adriatico, and it's really brewing up nicely as they head towards the line.
They're playing cat and mouse here. Richie Porte on the front again, looking at trying to break this group up. The gradient still very, very skipper. Scarponi drives away, Kreuziger on his wheel, and the little diminutive Tasmanian brings the group together with nearly only 500 metres to go.
Pozzovivo's joined this group as well. And Kwiatkowski is really, really suffering. A little bit of a gap there. Nairo Quintana immediately draws clear of him, and Kwiatkowski is in a world of hurt as Rigoberto Urán looks like he's really struggling as well. So the man sitting 2nd overall doesn't quite have the legs. The Colombian rider moved across to Omega Pharma Quick Step this year from the Sky Pro cycling squad, and it doesn't look like he's quite on the same form that we saw from him in the Giro d'Italia. But Richie Porte, who moved across to this race from Paris-Nice, well, is showing why Sky thought that he could be a man for GC by really putting it up to the other riders. The 2 Tinko Saxo riders of Kreuziger and Alberto Contador suffering in his wheel, but none suffering more than Mikhail Kwiatkowski, because, well, just about manages to drag himself back onto the wheel of Scarponi. But for how much longer can he resist these attacks?
It was interesting that the lull in the action, there was an opportunity there for the GC contender to put some daylight between them and Kwiatkowski, who's clearly suffering, but Porte got the bit between his teeth, accelerating away. Can Contador shut the gap?
Porte is gone. Porte has managed to open up the gap to Alberto Contador. Quintana is equal to the challenge put down by Richie Porte, so I think he might well be in trouble here. The man from Sky looks over his shoulder, and, well, he won't be happy to see that. But Kwiatkowski has cracked a little bit, and there's a definite gap, so they need to ride all the way to the line. Forget just about the 10-second bonus. I think they need to maximize the advantage. Kwiatkowski is managing to drag himself somehow, some way back to these riders who are definitely more adroit and of greater skill and agility on these climbs, but Kwiatkowski is showing fantastic fight and going for the line. Richie Porte, the attack comes from Alberto Contador. Nairo Quintana immediately onto his wheel, but Contador goes for the line at the end of stage 4 and opens up that advantage. 2, 3, 4 bike lengths for Alberto Contador as he goes inside the final 50 metres. No one's going to deny him now, and it's Alberto Contador that is going to take the stage and the 10-second bonus. Nairo Quintana of Movistar in 2nd position, and further back, well, Kwiatkowski desperately trying to limit the damage, and it looks as if he's limited it with great facility. Superb performance from the race leader. He's going to hang on to that jersey, there's no doubt about that, but with